Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and welcome back to part 3 of the life and suffering of Sir Brante. I'll be honest, I'm really loving this game, so I'm just going to keep playing it. I just finished part 2, and I'm going straight into part 3 with an illustrious guest. Some days, grandfather stays home, and on those days you try your best to stay out of his sight, but there is no way you can avoid family breakfast. The food is there, but you cannot bring yourself to eat it. Mother's eyes are red and swollen. She's been crying all night again. Grandfather sits at the head of the table, where nobody used to sit before. Robert, it is high time your youngest son underwent the sacraments. Sir Brante, please let them live free of the lot for a while longer. They are but. Shut your mouth. Robert, that wife of yours is impertinent enough to interrupt me. If this ever happens again, she'll be eating her gruel with the servants in the kitchen where she belongs. It is time you considered a real marriage, Robert, one to a woman of the proper station. Gloria drops her fork. Grandfather shoots her a scathing look. A tear rolls down Mother's cheek. Father does not look away from the plate, his hands clenched into fists. Baroness L. Lodore is one such woman. She is a comely widow and a fine match. She is suing for her inheritance right now and could use proper support and a husband. You can't keep your lowborn Lydia around. You can keep your lowborn Lydia around if you like. Servant, mistress, I don't care. I will not do that, father. I am the head of this family, and the family standing took a severe blow after you married that commoner. It is unthinkable. How could you give up the memory of beautiful Amalia Elborn for this lowly woman and that bastard child of hers? But now you don't have a chance to set things. But now you have a chance to set things right. Don't disappoint me. Father nods curtly, trying not to look in Mother's direction. Father, I wish to see Stefan. If I find your conduct in the Baroness's presence satisfactory enough, then you may see him. She is coming for a visit tomorrow. Be prepared. Grandfather wipes his mouth and his napkin. Grandfather wipes his mouth with his napkin, throws it onto his plate and leaves. Mother's lips move silently. Nobody says a word. Then Father stands up and orders you and the other children back to your rooms. He needs to speak to Mother in private. Father comes to your room before bedtime. He sits on the edge of the bed and adjusts a crease on the wooden blanket. He distanced himself from you after Stefan's departure, so you are not used to such attention from him. In the candlelight you see his face in the dark. There is a sour expression on it. My son, Baroness Emma L. Lodar will be visiting us tomorrow. Please be polite and treat her with respect. Nathan will do as you do. I want this dinner to be as immaculate as possible. Don't let me down. I have a feeling that dinner's not going to go as planned. On the next day, Mother starts dressing you and Nathan for the coming dinner. You see red all around her eyes. She's been crying, and for a long time. It hurts just to look at her. Nathan starts whining quietly. You and Nathan are dressed in the new doublets, your tousled hair brushed into shape. Gloria is told to stay in her room. Father appears wearing his best suit. Mother is in a humble brown dress, looking pale. Grandfather has an uncharacteristically contented look about him. You hear the sound of wheels and hooves against the cobbles in the yard. Then a pair of dainty heels comes clacking. The antechamber is completely quiet and still, fearing Grandfather's observant eye. The door opens. You see your guest, a beautiful, dark-haired woman in a dress of elegant deep blue. Father takes the hand of Lady L. Lodar and kisses it, sharing her in compliments. Grandfather's face is beaming in her presence. No one even bothers to introduce Mother. Baroness, allow me to introduce you, Robert's sons, Morgan and Nathan Brante. Frankly, it's his eldest Stefan who deserves the most attention, but currently he is studying in Eterna with other young noblemen like himself. It is my hope that his younger sons will also make me proud one day. Grandfather eyes you with a probing look. How will you act in front of the Baroness? Will you accept her here next to your mother, your father's rightful wife? So greet the Baroness politely, walk away with Mother. I won't do that. Maintain my composure, or demand that Mother be introduced. Oh, the stakes are high here. My brother will do what I do, so maybe I should just greet the Baroness politely. I don't understand this one though. What? Okay, that means we won't get too involved in the event, so we can demand that our mother be introduced, which I'm not going to do. Although I feel terrible for my mom, I don't want to rock the boat with grandfather or my father's potential to marry her. I'm going to greet the Baroness properly. You approach Baroness L. Lodar and kiss her hand, following father's example. As hard as it is to do that to my mother, I think it's what she would want me to. You follow father's example and kiss the Baroness' fingers lightly. Her laughter fills the antechamber, ringing like chimes. You gallantly offer to lead her to the sitting room. Lady El Lodar graciously agrees. Behind your back you can hear mother sobbing. Oh, Mom, I'm so sorry. Grandfather and Baroness El Lodar engage in small talk over dinner. She tells him of the woes of litigation over her late husband's inheritance, and he advises her like the judge he is. Father is mostly silent, only getting in a word or two. You do your absolute best to behave yourself. After the decorous farewells to Lady El Lodar, Father quietly thanks you for your model behaviour. The morning after he leaves for Eterna with Grandfather to visit Stefan. Mother spends almost an entire day in her bedroom. You cannot bring yourself to speak to her. Oh, I'm sorry, Mom. I knew that was coming. Father returns from the capital in a quiet rage. You overhear your parents talking. Apparently, Grandfather has already poisoned Stefan's mind against him, and he greeted Father with cold hostility. The name of Baroness El Lodar is never mentioned in the house again. Oh, so that was all pointless. Oh. You never really can predict what's going to happen in this game. I'm sorry, Mom. But my father likes me. That's a good something. Father... my grandfather likes me a little bit, which is huge for him. But he's turned Stefan against Dad, which isn't good. Our reputation has gone up, but unity has gone down. Okay, so we've gone from a tarnished honour to a modest position, which is good. But I want to get it to at least 5. Or even 6. Well, I mean, ideally I want to get it to 10, but one mistake could drop us back to tarnished honour, so... And unity is bad. We need to keep it at 7. But Stefan has been the cause of most of this so far. Well, grandfather, but also him. Oh, what's happening next? Okay, we've got 2 more events left for our childhood. The Kaleidoscope, 1125. Father now checks on your studies often and nitpicks you for sitting or eating or speaking in an incorrect fashion. It seems like Father's trying to prepare us for noblehood, so let's try not let him down. Once he becomes so annoyed, he says that he wishes Stefan had been the one to stay home instead of you. Oh, come on. You never expected to hear these words from your father, of all people. I think he's just hurt about what Stefan is being saying to him, so... Grandfather's trip to the capital took longer than expected. It feels lighter around the house without his presence. You allow yourself a little change of scenery. Instead of your room, you now busy yourself with reading and calculations in the sitting room, across the open door to the yard. Gloria has joined you today. She has already helped you progress through several complex passages in the book. Right now, she seems preoccupied with a strange tube. Aren't you hurt by the way Grandfather treats you? You ask. Gloria just shrugs. Grandfather always says they should get rid of me. I'm used to it now. He hurts you a lot worse than because you're closer to him. I just have to get out of his way, that's it. She shows you the strange tube she's been holding all day. Look, it's a kaleidoscope. I got it as a gift. Want to see inside? Excited by the idea, you close the book and peer into the tiny hole on one end of the tube. Your eye sees a multitude of intricate patterns. Each turn of the tube reveals a new web of interwoven colours. They mesmerize you. The kaleidoscope turns the fire burning in the fireplace into a cavalry made of flames. You are riding at the front of the fiery horseman, ready to face the enemy. Grandfather's face emerges from the intersecting lines, and you swing the kaleidoscope like a sword, cutting it in half. Now you look at the blue sky through the window. The patterns are unending, secretive, and calm and peaceful, just like Father's smile before Grandfather's invasion. The deep blue gives way to a scattering of gold radiating gentle warmth, like Mother's arms. This fleeting beauty too soon gives way to a hypnotic new pattern. Again and again you see your family in these interconnecting figures as they come together and break apart. And in the middle of this golden glow, you see Gloria's green eyes gazing at you observantly. Your sister left you long ago. The books are abandoned, and time slips away unchecked, but you are still busy peering into the kaleidoscope. Order emerges from the chaos before your eyes again and again, but you cannot preserve it no matter how you try. You are caught. Oh nice, they're all unlocked, that's good. You are caught in an inner conflict. There is so much that can be done with this kaleidoscope. Should you take it apart, or ask Gloria how it works, or keep enjoying the patterns it shows you? But you still have lessons to do today. You choose to finish your studies first and share the discoveries with Gloria later. I'm going to return to my studies. That one's a bit easier. You put the kaleidoscope away and return to studying the book. There is so much you have to discuss with Gloria. You cannot help but wonder, what things did she see there? But first, your lessons. When Father walks in, he sees you hard at work over the book. He chuckles in approval, then spots the kaleidoscope on the table next to you. He puts the toy to his eye, then freezes still for a moment. It takes him an effort to put it back down. Then he praises you for being diligent and leaves. When today's section of the book is finished, take the toy upstairs to your sister's room and tell her what you saw in it. Gloria smiles, knowing what you felt. I once saw a ballroom full of dancers. I watched it for an entire hour. My hands even got sore. Determination's gone up, willpower's gone down. Okay, one more and we're resolute, so I want to get to resolute. You spend a long time with your sister discussing the kaleidoscope figures, and you feel a strong connection to her. The toy has brought you closer together, made you interconnected, just like the lines and figures in its colourful eye. Oh, I thought my relationship with her would increase a little bit, but I guess not. Sweet temptation. Grandfather's visits are no longer a cause for fear and panic in the house. He has become something you are used to, something nagging, yet not unordinary, like a splinter or a stain on your trousers. The tension still remains, however, so Glego's disdain for everyone in the house is so palpable it almost stings for real. Your lessons with the tutor are done for today. You are walking down the stairs when you spot Gloria peeping into the sitting room through a slightly open door. You sneak up on your sister and tap her lightly on the shoulder. She is startled. Oh, it's you, Morgan. Look, Sir Gregor's eating something. Grandfather is sitting on the sofa, flipping through a book with one hand and reaching for a glass bowl with another, now and then. Inside the bowl you see candied fruit, a sweet confectionery forbidden to the common estate like all sweet things. Oh, I know where this is going to go. Yet Grandfather's face shows no pleasure as he keeps consuming the high-born treats. The clock strikes 3. Grandfather rises from his seat, puts away the bowl on a shelf and leaves for the yard. He always takes a walk in the city at this time. Gloria nudges you with her elbow and looks at the candy bowl when you look at her. The first emotion you feel is fear, but next comes curiosity, and it is stronger. Stefan used to boast that candied fruit tastes incredible, and now you have a perfect opportunity to try it. You try a candied fruit first. The sugar starts to melt as soon as you put it on your tongue. It is so sweet. You have never eaten anything as good as this. I've got quite a sweet tooth, so I can relate. You take the whole bowl off the shelf and give it to your sister. She takes the fruit and brings it to her mouth, carefully like a rare treasure. Oh God. There's a thumping on the stairs, footsteps accompanied by the knocking of a walking stick. You have no idea why, but Grandfather is back. You quickly hide behind the sofa and pull Gloria after you, but she is frozen in place with the bowl in her hands. The door opens. Grandfather's menacing figure advances on Gloria. His hand seizes her arm. You squalid, ungrateful, low-born child. How dare you bite the hand that feeds you? You and your trollop of a mother would be sleeping in a ditch if it weren't for my spineless son. The sweet and pleasant things in life are for the noble estate, not for the likes of you. Did you forget your lot? His hand swings and hits Gloria on the cheek. She falls to the floor right next to where you were hidden. Her fingers glisten with the warm melted sugar that brought you here. Grandfather advances again, his walking stick ready, but then he sees you huddling behind the armchair. Please don't hurt him, Sir Brante. This is all my fault. He tried to stop me. You can already see a bruise on Gloria's cheek. This is only the beginning of her punishment. Gloria was caught red-handed, unlike you. You can still avoid your punishment. What is it then, milksop? Did you try the sugar too? Nice, and they're both unlocked. Or were you trying to stop this piece of filth, like she says? Oh god. I don't really want to bring my willpower down less than it is, because then I can't act at all. I could lie, or mock grandfather along with your sister. So much for the decisions getting easier. I mean, I want to tell the truth. I'm definitely not going to lie. I'm not going to throw my sister under the bus. But I could mock my grandfather along with my sister. Is that really the character I've developed though with Morgan? It's going to take willpower though. She's grateful, so she might join in. Listen, I think I'm going to get beat if I tell the truth, and I'm going to get beat if I mock my grandfather. I'm going to mock grandfather along with my sister. Oh god. You jump up and try to shield Gloria. Then you start boasting right in his face. Yes, you did eat the sugary treat, and it was very much the opposite of sweet. Good thing Gloria did not have time to eat hers, or it would have disappointed her too. Gloria catches on in a moment. Yeah, sugary treats are for fat noble kids, but they're gross to us. We're just commoners. You continue her train of thought. Why, we simply got curious after Stefan started boasting about it. He told us these treats are so good you could eat them forever, but no, your elder brother lied. They are simply unbearable. But then again, what else would you expect from grandfather's darling Stefan? Grandfather's face is red with anger, with rage. He strikes you both with his walking stick, blow for blow. You dare mock me? I will not let this stand. Know your place, you foul, low-born scum. He keeps hitting you until he grows tired, and then he leaves you where you are, muttering in impotent rage. Soon enough, Mother comes in to find the two of you on the floor, too afraid to move. She shakes her head in disappointment. You are badly hurt and covered in bruises, yet she still forces you to kneel and recite the precepts of the lots and know how important it is to follow them. Gloria's face is bruised and swollen, but she still gives you a weak smile. We got him so riled up, two commoners made an honourable noble feel helpless. Makes all the pain worth it. Isn't that right, brother? Your entire body hurts from the heavy blows, but deep inside you are ecstatic. You stood up to grandfather today. It is a victory you will remember for the rest of your life. Oh, that's not good. Yes, but I am resolute, which is what I wanted, so I'm happy about that. But that was a tough one. Father's Sword. This event is a consequence of your previous actions. Oh, I forgot about this event actually. Father's Sword, 1125. When Father is not working long hours, you often see him spending long stretches of time in the backyard practicing his fencing. You are allowed to watch, but that is it. You are forbidden from touching the sword, let alone actually learning how to fight with it. It is a new day today, and Father has been busy in his studies since early morning. Mother took Gloria and Nathan to the shops. Your studies are done for today. The house is empty. You spot Father's sword hanging by the yard door. He must have left it there by accident after a training session. You deliberate you deliberate at first, then grab the sword with resolve and run outside. At last you have a chance to see it up close. It is a small sword used for dueling, heavy and devoid of any ornamentation. You recall that it was made specifically for him. The weapon is difficult to handle. Its heft makes the palm of your hand shake. As you get used to it, you try your best to imitate Father's feints. Your technique leaves much to be desired, but at least it's something. You imagine yourself fighting for the family's honor as the thin blade slices through the air. But you swing too far back. The blade nicks your shoulder and cuts through your shirt, staining the fabric crimson. The sword clangs to the ground with a dull clang. You try to apply pressure to the wound to make it stop bleeding, but all you do is make the blood flow faster. Morgan, what are you doing here? The familiar voice hurts you more than the cut of the sword. Father walks up to you briskly. His rugged arms rip off a length of cloth and bandage your shoulder. He squats by your side and pulls you into an awkward embrace. My son, why did you take the sword? You know you're not supposed to hold it. This is no toy. It is a weapon that can take lives. I know how you feel. I used to learn from my father's dueling sword back when I was a lad. One day you might have a chance to earn the right to carry a weapon, but first you must have patience and study and become a noble. When that day comes, I'll be proud to teach you myself. You rarely spend time with father without someone else around. There is paternal love in his voice, so much that even the cut on your shoulder barely hurts now. You would be glad to be convinced by what he says, but how can you forget your dream? How can you abandon it just to earn father's approval? Is it right for him to ask so much of you? Oh. I can agree with father. I'm not told this, we're going to ask him to teach you the basics. I mean, I could agree with him and have patience. Or ask him to teach me the basics. I want to get my determination up a bit more, so it would make sense to ask him that. I mean, he just said he's not going to teach us until we become a nobleman, so I don't know if we're wasting our time asking him. No, let's agree with father. We don't want to push the boat. You take a deep breath, then slowly and solemnly swear that you will never touch a sword again till you earn a nobleman's title. This promise is a difficult one for you to make. No more secret fights with an imaginary blade, no more battles with sticks. If you give your word, you must keep it. Father smiles warmly at you. It is one thing to make a promise and another thing to keep it, but I know you can do it, my son. You are on your way to becoming a man of your word. Let's go back inside now. Oh, there's definitely going to come a time when I have to use a stick or a sword and I can't. He picks up the sword and leads you back into the house. You wash the blood from the cut and agree to keep this a secret from everybody. Then father asks you to come into his study with him. He tells you stories of his studies in the capital. He tells you about studying for the judgeship and the trials he had to face to be ennobled by the mantle. Oh, he's affectionate, that's good. Father brings several toy soldiers from the house. He uses them to reenact the famous Battle of the Green River. The floor of the study becomes a battlefield, and the books from his table turn into river hillsides. You try your best to remember his every word. That's good, our willpower has gone up at least. Oh God. The Sacrament. Father and mother have been focused on Nathan and you since early morning. Instead of breakfast, you are told to say your prayers, wash your hands and faces, and get dressed in plain white shirts. Today is the day of your sacrament. Mother, I want to go play in the yard. No playing today. You and Morgan are big boys now. It is time for both of you to have your first sacrament. No one can live without a lot. I don't want a lot. Be quiet and listen. You are born commoners, so you must accept a low-born lot before the twins. When you grow up, you will get a chance to earn a noble lot. Father and mother take you to the carriage. Nathan is hungry. He starts whining. Grandfather is the last to get in the carriage. His eyes are on you and your brother, looking for every fault. Soon the carriage is moving along the streets of Anizot, slowly and solemnly. Once One more turn and you see the colossal white building marked by two massive pillars. For the first time in your life, you are about to enter the Church of the Twin Gods. You enter the gate and walk under the splendorous dome of the church. The church hall is divided into two halves. They are drastically different from one another. The floor on one side is rough and jagged and covered in dried brown spots, while the floor on the other is made of smooth marble. The commoners kneel on the jagged floor, and the well-dressed nobles and their families sit on pews. Father and grandfather leave you to sit on one of the nobles' pews. Mother walks to the rough stone of the commoner's side and gets down on her knees. You see her wince in pain, for the low-born estate shall suffer in the house of faith. The church acolytes surround you and lead you to the altar, where you and the other children will take your sacrament this day. Before you stands a tall priest, dressed in black, with a sword in one hand and a hefty whip in the other. Nathan's whining grows louder. He dislikes this place. He is scared. You remain quiet, but your stomach roils in uneasy anticipation. The first child to take the sacrament is a jaunty little boy from a family of nobles. The priest extends the sword before him and recites the words of his lot. From this day forth he will fight and rule and pursue the arts, his mind now forever free from the throes of suffering, for he now belongs to the noble lot. The boy proudly touches the flat of the blade with his lips. Nathan is next to receive the sacrament. He suddenly snaps out of his fearful trance and tries to break free, but the acolyte pulls him toward the altar and throws him onto the jagged floor on the low-born side. The sharp edges bite into Nathan's knees as he lands, spraying drops of blood around him. I don't wanna! Morgan, why do they want me to whip me? What did I do? You try to break free and run to Nathan's side. You want to give him courage and protect him, but the acolyte's grip on you is too firm. You feel utterly helpless. Your little brother has to face the world all by himself. The priest starts reciting the words of the lot as he swings the lash over Nathan's shoulders. From this day forth, Nathan, thou shalt endure and work and suffer. Thou shalt be ardent in thy labour and humble in obedience to thy rulers. And now cometh thy first true suffering, which thou must accept with gratitude. The lash cracks. It strikes his right shoulder. It strikes his left shoulder. The blows are so powerful that Nathan falls to the floor. The priest tells him to rise. He has received his lot. Nathan gets on his feet and drags himself towards Mother, his knees torn and bloodied, his spirit broken. It is your turn. Your feet will not move. You can barely muster enough strength to walk to the altar. You get down on your knees, it should be, and feel the sharp stones below you, so sharp your clothing cannot protect you. Your skin begins to burn. The acolyte forces your head down, and you feel the lash being drawn above you, ready to strike. Oh God. The priest's words are for you now. This is thy sacrament. Thou shalt work, and endure, and suffer. Thou art about to receive thy first true suffering by the sacred lash. Dost thou accept thy lot? Accept it. You raise your head defiantly and stand up. Catch the lash. Kiss the sword. Oh God. Okay, the thing is, right, I figure if I kiss the sword, I'm going to damage my family's reputation and get beat. It's not going to help me. And I don't know, I've never defied anything in public. I've only ever done it at home. There might be a severe penalty for doing something like that in public. I'm not going to catch the lash. Do I raise my head? Or do I accept it? Oh. I really don't know. Again, I want my character to be pious, so he should accept it. I don't think I'm going to raise my head. I don't think that's any good. If I'm going to make a decision, I want to go all out. I'm either going to kiss the sword and tell them to stuff their lots, or I'm going to accept it. Like my father said, I would get a chance for a nobleman's lot later on. Should I just kiss the sword? Or sorry, should I just accept it? Should I kiss the sword? Ugh, I can't embarrass my family in public like that. I don't know what good that's going to do if I just stand up. I'm still going to get whipped and just embarrass my family for nothing. My grandfather would kill me, I think, if I do this. I really want to kiss the sword. I don't know what good this is going to do, which makes me consider I might be missing something. Raise my head. You raise your head defiantly and stand up. Maybe that's good. Dost thou accept thy lot? No. I think I might get killed if I kiss the sword, which I guess might bring me closer to my one and true death, but like, I don't see what good this is going to do besides upset my family. I'll probably lose honor. I'll make everybody angry at me and I'll get nothing to show for it. I guess they're all, do nothing, +1, +2, +3 in terms of extremity. God, I really don't know what to do. I'm gonna accept it. Oh, God, I hate that. I hate it so much. Our time will come. Patience for now. The moment before the lash reaches you stretches out into an eternity. Its sound approaches you slowly as it slices through the air. The whip cracks. It strikes you on the right shoulder. The lash is so heavy it bends your back and forces you to the floor. The lash cracks again. It hits you on the left shoulder. There is blood running down your back. Rise now, commoner, the priest tells you. You stand. Everything looks blurry. You can barely walk on the sharp floor. Mother takes your hand and leads you away from the altar. Oh God. Oh no, that takes down my determination. Did I pick the wrong thing? Damn it. There is agony, but there is also unfathomable tranquility. This is right. This is what you deserve. This is how it should be. This is the way of the world and its laws. From this day forth you will accept all suffering in life with humility and patience, for you are a commoner. The Sacrament, year 1125. You have taken your first sacrament and received the commoner's lot. Disappointed by my determination, though. Year 1125, childhood's end. The mark left on you by the sacrament takes a long, long time to heal. Mother says it is a reminder of your lot, suffering and sufferance, pain and patience. Gloria shows you the mark of the lash on her shoulder one day. It will never disappear. You are a commoner now. This is the lot you were born into. But Father keeps telling you to study hard, so you may yet earn a different lot and become noble of the mantle. You recall the past with warm sadness, when Stefan still lived with you, or when he wrote to you for a time shortly after he left. Now he thinks it beneath him to write to the commoners of his family. Mother didn't lock herself in the bedroom as often back then. This changed shortly after Nathan was born. But, most importantly, you missed a time before the terrifying figure of your grandfather was constantly looming over you. You learned the true power of the lot only after the head of the family's arrival. In grandfather's eyes, no commoner deserves to be treated with kindness. Is it just him, or is it the way of the entire world? The very thought makes you queasy. You are older now, and what's more, you are an elder brother now. You've learned how to care about someone else, how to teach and protect. Soon you are a small boy no longer. As the days pass, play gradually gives way to laborious study. Now your choices will decide your place in this bizarre and ruthless world of adulthood. Your childhood years are over. And that's that. So, I hope you enjoyed it. I'm really loving this game. It's quite difficult decisions, and I'm not sure I've made all the right ones that Well, I don't think there are any right ones, but we'll see what happens. So I hope you're enjoying the game. If you would have chosen differently, let me know. And look forward to part 4 coming soon. So take care and have a nice day.